What's going on, everyone? In this video, I kind of want to give you guys the thought process as to why I took this NVIDIA trade. Now, currently up in the position $1,775, obviously before commissions and all that is said and done. What I'm looking at here on the video and what I was looking at on Friday, right? So that was yesterday, the 28th. Today is the 29th. It's Saturday. So I'm doing a little bit of a recap video, kind of showing you guys inside the mind and my thought process as to what I was thinking, right? So if we just kind of go back to Thursday, we had a nasty engulfing red candle to kind of start the day. That was this candle right here. As we pulled down, I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame, and I do see some firm level support down at the bottom channel. Now this bottom channel down here is a demand zone. It's the linear regression channel 50. As soon as we got into that area, we started an aggressive bounce going into the close. Now we closed at the middle upper half of that range on Thursday. Looking at the after hours and the pre-market data, I seen a spike in the pre-market that came all the way up to the supply zone here, which is all the way back up to the top of that linear regression channel, right? So if we look at this blue line here, is the top channel, this is the middle channel, this is the bottom channel. So we came from a price just on Thursday of around $266, and we closed up $10 in 24 hours. So what I was looking at, obviously if price action never confirmed the breakdown of 266, there was no real short position. And if we can kind of hold that pre-market, that pre-market middle channel, which was right here sitting at around 270. So if we look at 270, we've got a ton of firm support on a 1 hour time frame. I'm looking at the 10-day moving average. I'm looking at the 50-day moving average. I'm looking at the 20-day moving average. If you want to understand and know why exactly do I have so many lines on my chart, it's because potentially I want to know where can these stocks stop and where potentially could they be heading. I use them as a supply and demand. This is a little bit more complicated and difficult system, especially for a newer trader. If you're a newer trader, I do have a strategy that you can use for scalping and for short-term day trades, right? If you want to be someone who's in and out in the market in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour maybe, I've got a perfect strategy for that. But this is kind of giving me an overall macro intraday perspective as to where the stock could be going. So I got into these 270, 250 calls after the first hour, okay? So after that first hour candle closed, which was right here, right off the open, we did kind of make this initial spike. We never got over the pre-market highs, and then we started to kind of pull back. As I seen it start to pull back, we pulled back to this middle channel. Notice the middle channel that I just spoke about a couple of minutes ago, we pulled right into that 270, 271 area, and then we bounced very aggressively. We never lost any of the pre-market lows, so definitely momentum is to the upside. I'm looking at the NASDAQ futures. They're continuing to rise. They're continuing to hold the bid. So as I'm looking at that, I'm taking this first hour candles highs at around 273.78. Now, anytime I'm trading short-term expirations, whether it be a weekly contract or a next week's contract, I'm always going as close to the money or at the money as possible. So what that means is if current stock price, if my pivot level is around 273.78, what I'm looking to do is go over to the options chain, and I'm either trying to get the strike price that is one right above that or one right in the money. In this particular case, just due to the price of the options account and my size of the account, and basically on what I can afford, I took my normal position sizing. I went in the money at 272.50s with a 273.80, 273.78 pivot level, which puts me in the money, and it puts me right there where all the price action is at. So as soon as I got into this strike, into this options, it immediately went up and tested this upper supply, which is the linear regression, right at those pre-market highs, and then it started to pull in. Now, for newer traders, when it starts to do that, when you get into a position and it goes in your favor, I would recommend this. If you have a small account, just take your profits, okay? Just take your profits. If you can afford to buy multiple contracts or trade multiple shares, right? If you're trading 50 shares, 100 shares, 200 shares plus, then definitely take some profits off the table, hold a runner in case it does decide to go. In my particular case, I'm pretty confident with NVIDIA. I do trade it on a weekly basis. I trade it along with Tesla on a weekly basis. I'm comfortable with the price action. I'm comfortable with the risk is what I'm trying to say. So I know that my stop loss is going to be below all of this demand. If we were to come down, for example, hit this supply zone, come all the way back down, lose the 20-day moving average, lose the 50-day moving average, and then now start to build below the 50-day moving average on a 1 hour time frame, my trade is done. I know I lost a trade. I just have to move on, so forth and so forth. But being that we are holding the pre-market lows, we are holding the middle channel, we are holding the 50-day moving average on a 1 hour time frame, this pullback is fine. I'm willing to sit through that because my contracts do not expire till the 5th, which is next week. So I don't really have that stress of trying to like make all my money as quickly as possible and trying to get out, right? On a normal day-to-day basis, when I am trading weekly expirations, I more than likely am selling on the run up, just due to the fact that I'm taking the calls over the pivot level of 273.70s. I'm already putting myself in the money at 272.50s. As soon as it starts to come up into 274, it starts to come all the way up into 275, I'm going to just sell. I'm going to sell 80% of my position. I'm probably going to hold 2 or 3 contracts after that. As the runner, I'm going to use break-even stops on those remaining contracts. Obviously, those contracts would still be in the money as well, but I probably would have sold once we got the break and close over this channel level here. Being that I do have a little bit more time on these options contracts, I wasn't too worried about it. Holding all of these fanned out moving averages, we're over the 10, which is your power trending moving average on a 1 hour time frame for a daily intraday perspective. We're over the 10, we're over the 20, we're over the 50 EMA, we're over the 50 SMA, and obviously we're over that middle channel there. So I go ahead and hold through this drawdown here. It does put me into a little bit of a drawdown. I was in a drawdown for probably about 30 minutes. That's one thing that has to come along with trading psychology and understanding what you're doing, understanding how to control those emotions, and understanding that trading is a probability based business, which means that you're either going to be on the right side of the probability or the wrong side of the probability. Us in the middle, there's nothing that we can do to kind of change that. Either we hold and we continue to go into drawdown and then we go on full tilt, or we sell when we're obviously in the money and we just move along with our trade. This does continue to bounce back up. Here at the 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time candle, it did close at the top of the range. This gave me some full confidence that if we were to break, right, if we were to break this channel, potentially we have some more room to stretch. And you can see, not only did we broke this, closed over with a nice hammer candle, identifying to me that there is strength in buyers in this price action in the tape on NVIDIA. We consolidated sideways during 10 a.m. We consolidated sideways during the 11 a.m. candle. And then going into the close, we absolutely exploded to 277.48. Now, I am looking to sell these contracts into next week. If I do pull up the daily chart, right, I might sell them on Monday. If I kind of look at the daily chart here, and I want to make sure you guys can see this. Let me move this over really quickly. If we look at the daily chart does have room to 280, 281. That's been the troublesome spot. 281.10 is obviously the most recent highs of 2023. It's something that we need to kind of keep in mind here. So that's why I'm looking to sell this. I probably will sell 7, 8 contracts and then hold the last 2 as a runner in case we do go on a full-on bull breakout on NVIDIA and it does want to run, right? I want to be a part of it, right? So I want skin in the game. I do want to be a part of that trade, but I don't want all my money on the table in case something crazy happens in the market and we do something nasty with the pullback, right? So I'm gonna wake up on Monday, depending on where we open up. If we have a little flat open or we gap down a little bit, I'm gonna need to see the hour chart. I'm gonna need to see what support is below. If we start to lose too much hour support, meaning the 5, the 10, the 20, I'll probably just sell, lock in my profits on the entire position. But again, if we open up anywhere close to 275, anywhere close to 276, 277, I'm definitely going to sell those 7, 8 contracts for profit. I'm going to move my stop loss on these on the overall running positions to in the profit, in the money, and then I'm going to kind of just let them ride. Right, I'm going to let them ride into 280, 281. Again, if we open up green and let's say, NVIDIA continues to spike off the open, well, I'm definitely going to take those 6, 7, 8 contracts and start selling them into 280, selling them into 281, and then I'm going to leave those 2 remaining contracts to kind of run for a full breakout of the new 2023 highs. Again, just wanted to kind of let you guys know, and just for full transparency, these contracts, these 10 contracts costed me about $6,000, right? So about $6,300 for 10 of them. So again, if you're someone who's trading $1,000 account and you're wondering, well, how can I make $1,700 on this position? You probably can't with a $1,000 account. You're probably not going to make $1,700 on this overall position because you just don't have enough size, right? So one thing that I do teach, we have to be realistic as to how much money we're putting down and how much money we're actually going to make. For example, if you're someone that maybe has, you know, $1,000 account and you bought the options contracts, the same options contracts at me, you might not be up 1,700, but you might be up 200. You might be up 300, right? You might be up 400. You might be somewhere in that ballpark, right? If you bought a couple of contracts and for your $1,000, but again, it took around $6,000 to make this. So if you do have maybe a $10,000 account, then maybe these expectations can be a little realistic for you. Just want you to understand that if you do have a $10,000 account, it's resulting in you putting in half of your account size into one particular play. Now, a lot of people may be thinking, well, I heard that you shouldn't risk more than 1% or 2% or 0.5% of your entire account. That's true when it comes to risk, right? So there's a little bit of a misconception as it you know pertains to risk. What some people consider risk, some people, you know, may not. So for example, for me, if I had a $10,000 account and I'm putting up $6,000 into one particular trade, yes, that is a 60%, you know, risk that you're putting on the table for, you know, God forbid, NVIDIA goes bankrupt intraday and the stock goes to zero, you would lose the entire 6,000. I get that. However, when I put up $6,000 into a trade, like in this particular case, and let's say I had a $10,000 account, I am not by any means risking, you know, the full 6,000. There's no chance in hell that I'm risking the full 6,000. I might risk $500, right? $500 on the trade. So even if I do lose on this particular NVIDIA trade, I'm not losing my full 6,000. I might lose 400, 500, 600. You know, I might lose a couple $100. I'm managing my risk on the 6,000. Okay. So I'm not looking at this in a sense where I've got 10,000, I'm putting in 6,000. If I lose, oh, well, I lose 6,000. No. I'm managing 10,000. Or excuse me, I have 10,000, I'm managing 6,000. How much of the 6,000 do I want to risk, right? So in this particular case, maybe I only want to lose $500, right? So $500 on the 6,000 might be like 2, 3, 4%. Yes, that's extremely high, but you also have to understand, right? Understand this. You are trading NVIDIA. First things first, this stock moves. It has one of the biggest daily true ranges in the overall market on the NASDAQ 100 next to Tesla. Okay, so it moves a lot. Understand that this thing's not going to move 20 cents at a time. It's going to move in dollars. So you're going to be able to make a lot of money on this particular trade. You can also lose a lot of money on this particular trade, as a disclaimer. So again, maybe I'm risking 2, 3, 4, 5% on the particular trade, but I've been doing this long enough to understand that. And that $500 associated with my entire account size is a lot more than 10,000. It's not really that big of a hit if I do lose the 500, right? So it'd be a bigger hit if you had maybe 5,000 or maybe 1,000 or $3,000 account. So just all kind of put that into perspective. If you're having trouble building a trading plan and knowing what stocks to trade on based on your particular account sizing, I would recommend you get with someone who can help you. Join Evolution Traders. All of those links are down in the description box below. I can help you build out a trading plan of tickers, you know, risk management plan, a trading plan, a strategy guide, a system that you can follow with rules. So that way you can know which stocks to trade, understand how much risk that you should be taking, understand how much profit you should be taking, because all of this plays a key factor. I feel like a lot of times people come into the market, they load in $2,500, they max out and buy, you know, as many NVIDIA contracts as they can. They somehow lose the trade and they get discombobulated. They lose 50%. Next thing you know, their account's sitting at $800 after one trade, right? Don't do that. Don't be an idiot. Learn. Get experience, trade with people who do it. I have a full community of traders who are trading on a day in and day out basis. They're trading my way. They're trading my way in their particular way, right? So every trader is different emotionally. You need to take a system that works, a system that's been back tested, and you need to fine tune it to your emotional, you know, kind of genetic makeup, right? So every trader is going to be different. With that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want access to the Discord only, that link is down in the description. If you want access to the Discord community as well as the strategy building and one-on-one coaching, then join evolutiontraders.com, become a lifetime member. You're going to get access to everything for the rest of my life, your life, as long as the internet is around. Again, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.